Hey guys, it's Chris Turton here. I'm going to teach you all about the secret sauce to dominating on Amazon in 2025. Just look at some of the results that I've got for these clients here in terms of ranking. Today, I'm going to teach you the really true success that comes with ranking on Amazon. And you might think it's all down to your keywords, it's all down to customer reviews, it's all down to all these things that people tell you are best practice within listing optimization, making sure you're getting the listing quality score from Amazon, making sure that your Helium 10 review ranking score is at the highest point. That's a good starting point, but it is not about how you rank and how you dominate on Amazon. And we're going to talk about that today. The first thing I want to say to you is Amazon has a specific process that it follows in terms of how it ranks and what it's looking for. And that is all down to something called sales velocity. Amazon works on this basis. The more consistency you find getting sales, the higher you will rank. That's all there is to it. High volume of sales is great, but it has to be sustainable. You could sell 2,000 products over the space of a weekend and not sell another unit in the next 7 days. That will not help you rank from our experience and the work that we've done with some 230 different Amazon seller accounts. The strategy that you need to look at is all about getting continuous momentum of sales. If you can follow that process and that strategy, then you are on the pathway to getting successful sales and growing your brand on Amazon. So how do you do this? The first thing to do is to be data-led. So build your strategy around Amazon's data points. You can simply do this by going into your Amazon reports. So to go to business reports, go to your sales data and look at unit session percentage and look at your click-through rates. This will really help you understand what is working and what isn't working on your products. If you're getting good click-through rates and those are turning into good conversion rates, that will help you build the momentum that you need. Getting these metrics is also crucial when you're looking at getting advertising to work, which is another part of this algorithm. So the first things you need to do is understand all your key lines, click-through rates, which is how many people search, so how many people are impressions on your product line versus how many click through. And the second is how many of those clicks turn into customers and convert into sales. The key metrics behind that are as follows. So to build click-through rates, you need to make sure that when someone is viewing your product, when they're scrolling through, that they are drawn to the product. So think within two mindsets of how can I get the product to be viewed? How do people look at my product and to make sure that they are going to buy? And secondly, how do they trust my product? How are they going to build that trust in order to make that purchase? So for you, there's very simple metrics. The first one is to make sure that your image quality is absolutely key. And the best way to do this is don't just guess, look at what your competitors are doing. You know, Amazon has strict policy about regulations for getting your product listings and your images. You know, and then you can look at all those kind of points about the terms that Amazon have in place. But more importantly, what are your competitors doing? How are they perceiving that product? Are they showing the product within its packaging? Are they showing the product in use? Some categories benefit more from a lifestyle image. So things like plants and garden products, and they get away with that in their category. So it's all about what is likely to sell. The best way to do this would be deep competitive analysis. Look at what are the most common traits you see within the best selling products on Amazon to make your decisions to how you present your imagery. That's number one. Number two is your price point comparative? So are your prices suitable to the point you're making, you know, in terms of the competition? So you don't want to have a brand new product that's pricing is far too high because ultimately people will just go, if I'm not buying that, I don't trust that product enough unless you're a major brand for you to buy that product. So make sure your pricing is competitive. Making sure that your margin safe as well is another important factor of something that we cover on this channel in terms of making sure you're profitable. Make sure your pricing is competitive. Don't run away with high pricing and high margin because you think that you're a premium product or you can get away with it. Customers on Amazon are very savvy and they will know this. Be customer centric in your approach. So make sure that your pricing is competitive. Number three for your click-through rates is to make sure you have some level of reviews. The best way to get reviews is Amazon's Vine program, and you can apply to this by simply using Amazon FBA and having your brand registered. So you can use the Vine program to get up to 30 reviews. Remember that review results diminish over time. So in other words, Don't try and focus on thousands of reviews, because the results you see and the investment you make to get those results will start to diminish. So don't try and fake reviews, don't try and push them. Getting a good little base of good reviews for a good quality product is really important. Remember, the review score is more important than the review volume. So making sure your review score is over about 3.8 to 4 is optimal. The app factor as well will also help you with the conversion side, because that builds the second part of what we're talking about, and that's trust. Trust is built from building reviews, ultimately competitive price, and clicks. Those three factors that we've just spoke about will help with the click-through rate improvements. And eventually, through the process of optimization, you'll refine these tactics, refine your images through different tools, different strategies. But for now, make sure that you get the creativity side, the listing creation done, and make sure that you're set up for success. And you're going to have to optimize to make sure this works long term, but making sure that your product is set up for success is going to be key. The next factor is going to be the conversion side, and reviews play a big part into this, but also making sure that when people have clicked onto your listing, they are now ready to buy. You need to look at a few other factors. A few of those factors will include things like making sure that your product information is correct, accurate, and meets the customer's needs. Again, use competitive analysis, trial and test things with your bullet points, with your keywords. Make sure that your imagery reflects that of competing products and you meet or exceed all the product features customers want. This will really help you with your conversion rates. And again, this is a trying and testing process. You cannot set and forget an Amazon listing. It is a case of optimal refinement, but making sure you get the foundations right from day one is going to be key. So make sure that you've got the right imagery. Make sure that that imagery is reflective of what competitors are doing, but also the product features. Okay, so make sure that you are able to really push on any USPs and unique selling points you have, or that you're able to really push on what makes that product viable and more credible than your competitors, and make sure that it's competitive within their pricing format. This will help tighten that funnel and help you build those sales. So click-through rates and conversion rates are your absolute epitome for success on Amazon and getting the secret sauce to dominating on the platform. The next point is start small with a very targeted ad campaign. So start an ad campaign, create one with one product per campaign per ad group. Start with auto. Now, using auto will mean that you're able to generate and get keywords that Amazon suggests and keywords that are built from your listing. So making sure that your listing creation is right and you start that optimization process. Never try and advertise a product that is not optimized to your standard, because it will fail. It will cost you a lot of money. Get that process in place as a secondary to start those ads, get that ball rolling. Yeah, it's going to be expensive in the early days because you don't have trust, you don't have reviews, you don't have that momentum, you don't have that organic ranking. And remember, Amazon ads impacts organic ranking by up to 60%. So crucially, make sure that they work tandem. And when you're looking at your ad return on investment, use your ad spend versus your entire sales. We call this metric TACOS or TROAS. So total advertising cost of sale or total return on advertising spend. And we have to look at that because of the impact ads has on organic rankings. So make sure that you are aware of this and what it's costing you when you start to look at your margins, because crucially, they work hand in hand, and that process will refine over time and become more cost effective as you build your conversion rates. The final thing I'm going to mention is really look at things like social media and external traffic. So when I say external traffic, what do I mean? I am talking about other websites that you might be able to link onto Amazon from other places. Amazon loves external traffic, so it'll love your TikTok, social media, Facebook, etc. If you can build traffic into your product, a new product, that will also help you with dominating and developing your Amazon strategy. That's going to be a really key factor. If it's a really good price and a really good deal, there's lots and lots of different sites that you can use to effectively build and get your products linking onto external websites and gets those sales onto Amazon. So some really core things there, but in a nutshell, Amazon in its core form is really simple. If you think in these formats, customer centricity and sales velocity, if you think of those two formats, you will be on the pathway to success for selling your products on Amazon in 2025. If you like this video and want to know more about SEO on Amazon and listing optimization, have a look up here and I'll see you in the next one.